On the very first page of this book, Nancy buys a news reporter outfit, a jewel-toned suit with a sapphire woolen jacket and matching skirt, and a cream-colored silk blouse. I guess the cover artist didn't want to draw that outfit because they changed it to a raincoat.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
Nancy is going undercover as an intern at River Heights Channel 9 News. Lead anchorman Hal Taylor has been getting death threats. Hal is a local celebrity, along with his co-anchor and girlfriend, Marilyn Morgan. Nancy's rarely seen housekeeper Hannah Gruen makes a brief appearance before Nancy watches the news. Nancy and Bess complain about how much they dislike the happy talk between news stories. You should stop that, Hal. Leave the stupid, unnecessary jokes to me, okay? The TV show abruptly cuts off. Nancy calls and learns the culprit just tried to hijack the show with a video threatening to kill Hal. Maybe they should avoid live broadcasts in the future. Hal says he's been getting threatening letters for weeks, around the time he broke up with Marilyn. He thinks the culprit is State Representative Steve Gilbert. Gilbert has been taking bribes from a trucking company named KSM Express. Hal plans to air his tape exposing the crimes on Monday. I'm a little surprised Hal is holding off on that news story until next week. Somebody's trying to kill him for the tape. Shouldn't he release it immediately as breaking news, instead of giving the culprit plenty of chances to cover up the affair? Nancy drives to the state capitol to talk to Gilbert. He refuses to say anything and leaves. Poor Nancy, that's a 4-hour round trip all for nothing. She travels with Sourpuss reporter Gary Krager. Gary thinks he deserves to be lead anchor. He complains Hal steals all the credit for everyone else's hard work. Brenda Carlton appears, because you can't have a news-themed book without Brenda. As usual, Brenda almost ruins Nancy's cover by demanding to know why she's here. Luckily, Brenda's not a good reporter. She's distracted when Nancy says she's not good enough to do TV news. There's a report of a fire. Gary runs to the other news vans and lets the air out of their tires so he can reach the scene of the crime first. How slimy. Marilyn is quite mean whenever the cameras are off. She's in talks to get a job with a major news network. She threatens to murder Hal before he can humiliate her with his new girlfriend. It just so happens Bess got a job as a waitress with Hal's girlfriend. What a coincidence! The girlfriend confirms Marilyn has been harassing her non-stop. Engineer Bill Steghorn complains about Hal, and the culprit sets Hal's office on fire. Nancy puts it out quickly. Everything related to the bribery case was lost in the fire, so it was done on purpose. Hal flirts with Nancy and takes her out to dinner. He backs off when she points out they're both dating other people. Nancy and Bess return to the state capitol, which is Springfield, by the way. Unlike other Nancy Drew series, this one is pretty clear about the fact that she lives near Chicago, Illinois. Bess flirts up a distraction so Nancy can break into Gilbert's office. Nancy sees Gilbert has a meeting with Marilyn scheduled, and he's got a pen from his bribe buddies at KSM Express. Nancy found a similar pen near the fire. Nancy's interrupted by Brenda Carlton. Again, Brenda is easily distracted. Once she starts bragging about herself, she forgets everything that's going on. Nancy and Bess go to KSM, where they almost get run over by a forklift. The company owner, Kurt Milhouse, seems familiar to Nancy. He warns that he dislikes Hal Taylor, and his lawyers are more than ready to sue for slander if Hal airs the bribery story. As the cover shows, Nancy does a live news report when a car accident results in a truck hanging off the side of a bridge. Gary is furious and accuses Nancy of trying to steal his job. She turns the tables on him and accuses him of trying to kill Hal. Gary is so shocked, he must be innocent. Nancy later repeats the trick of unexpectedly accusing someone to shock them into confessing. It doesn't work. Marilyn leaves without saying a thing. During a noon taping, a live wire breaks through the ceiling and almost hits Hal on the head. Nancy saves Hal's life by knocking him and the wire with a stool. This makes Brenda finally realize Nancy's case is about Hal. Brenda promises to keep quiet, as long as she gets an exclusive interview with Hal once it's over. The culprit ransacks Hal's house, and Nancy makes the foolish decision to travel along a dangerous, twisty cliffside by herself. It feels like every time she drives along this cliffside in the series, somebody tries to push her off. Sure enough, a truck from KSM appears and starts ramming her from behind. She barely escapes with her life by taking an unexpected turnoff. In a humorous scene, Nancy's boyfriend Ned impersonates a trucker, which lets them get in and out of KSM without being caught. There, Nancy discovers Kurt Milhouse is Bill Steghorn's son. The two of them are the culprits. Instead of ending the case right away, Nancy waits a few hours before breaking into Bill's locker. Bill shows up with a gun. He takes Nancy to a truck where Hal has already been captured. Luckily, a security guard comes and is a distraction at the best possible moment. Nancy and Hal disable the culprits. Hal turns the attempted kidnapping into a big news story, which makes him pretty happy. He starts dating Marilyn again. Brenda interviews Hal, as promised, but she spends more time flirting than reporting. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book was pretty good, although it feels like a rehash of Stay Tuned for Danger. Both books feature Nancy going undercover when a TV star is being threatened. I liked how Ned plays a minor role in this book. Poor Ned's been treated pretty badly in the past 10 books, so it's nice to see Nancy let him help with the case. Bess's role was not as important. Brenda's role was okay, but it's nothing new. There are other books where Brenda almost messes up Nancy's investigation by accident, Brenda tries to figure out what Nancy's really up to, and Brenda is placated with the promise of an exclusive interview. The culprit has bugged all of the phones at the TV station, so he always knows in advance what Nancy will do. That is a neat premise which is not fully realized. He only uses the trick once, in order to ransack Hal's house before Nancy arrives there. I feel like the culprit should have been 2 steps ahead of Nancy several times. That would have created some suspense. Overall, it's a competently done entry in the series. I liked it better than the last one. There's a fair amount of action and investigation. I like the subtle clue that Bill and Kurt are related because they both have big eyebrows. I give Nancy Drew Files number 78, Update on Crime, an 8 out of 10.